Welcome back here to another edition of The Light Between Us. Happy to be here with you as always. From ChickfilA Cicero and ChickfilA Clay, we have the opportunity to tell the stories of the team members of these two fantastic locations, led by our fearless leader, owner and operator, Jim Sikowski. So in The Light Between Us, if you've never seen it before, we welcome the stories of these team members to speak on their faith, their connection to God, and your unique story and journey that's gotten you to where you are today and has brought you to the family of Chick-fil-A. So with that being said, Cece McGlory is with us today. Cece, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing very well. And so, Cece, we've had the chance to talk about a lot of things off the air and to get to know each other a little bit. For you, 19 years old, you said that now you always had church in your life and you always had God in your life in some respect, but at 12 years old, it ramped up. It became something else. Describe what happened when you were 12.
Yeah, so it was like a Christian concert in Rochester, and it was Father's Day. And my sister and I were there. We didn't really know what we were like doing, but we are just, having fun, praising the Lord. And at the end of the service, they're like, does anyone, want to get like saved? And we're like, yeah. My sister and I were like, yeah, let's get saved. And we didn't really know what we were doing at the time, but now that I'm older, I realize like how much that day meant to me, and I didn't realize it in the moment, and how much it meant to my dad to see us get saved on that day too.
And you said, at 12 years old, you're enjoying the concert, you're seeing everybody being happy, and you said, hey, let's do it. Did you know the magnitude of what you were saying that day in that moment, or have you realized it more now?
No, I didn't know in that moment. I realize it now since my faith has grown.
And what does it mean to you now 7 years later to say that you accept the Lord into your life?
That He's never let me down. I've built my faith stronger because of the people who I work with, and, my church family. They're just amazing people.
And we look at the fact of, like you said, being here. You came to Chick-fil-A at a unique time. In the middle of a pandemic and starting in Cicero and then getting to open Clay. What was it that drew you to Chick-fil-A?
Honestly, what drew me to Chick-fil-A is that I'd come to the Cicero location because I worked at the Wegmans, and I'm like, man, I really love it here. And also, I've known Ike Jarvis for about 6 years prior to that, and he's always telling me about how he loves his job. I'm like, hey, why not get a job here?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Ike really connected you.
Yes.
And then you come in for your interview. You sit down with Jimmer.
I sat down with Maria at first.
Okay.
For my first interview, and then Jimmer for the second.
When you got to sit down with Jimmer, what was your first impression?
I was scared because I'm like, he's the owner and operator. I'm terrified to be here right now. But he made me feel so welcome. Yeah. He said that even though with the pandemic, he could see the smile in my eyes, and he gave me that chance to be here to work for him.
And he told you that he saw that smile in your eyes and to not hide it. In a world where we have had to hide them, how much more important is it for you to get those, that affirmation from Jimmer, and then at the same time to not always get to show it, that when you do get to show your smile, that you make sure that you do?
It's good because sometimes you can't really tell if you're smiling, but it just felt good. Wow, he could see you outside of this mask wearing, of this pandemic, and he believed in me at that moment.
And we look at everything we've been through, and you've been through so much in your life, to speak to your story and the fact that your family has had adversity that nobody should have to go through.
Yes. So my dad, about 6 years ago, he was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, and then he was also diagnosed with MS later in the time. it was definitely a hardship for the family. Just watching your parent deteriorate like that, it really does something to you. And, you know, there's those moments that you just want to give up, but you can't. I mean, it's definitely just been a battle. You never know how to prepare for it, but it's there and it'll make you stronger than you ever were before.
Why has it? What's your dad's name?
Michael or Mike.
So, for your dad, for Mike, why do you think he's never given up?
I would say because our family and the Lord, he's always had a firm foundation with the Lord. You know, he's always pushed it on us, and you know, then my sister and I, we accepted him and we started to look at the bigger picture in life. And he's just never given up on his family. We didn't even think he was going to make it to our high school graduation, and he did. And it's just those moments in life that he lives for every single day. He lives to see my sister and my mom, and I smile.
Your dad sounds like a very selfless person. And so when you say, you know, we didn't know if he would be here for this, we didn't know if he would be here for that, seeing that somehow, some way, through everything he's been through and through being sick, to see him get to the point that he's at right now, do you see the God in that?
Yes. If it wasn't for our faith, I don't feel like he would want to be here today.
And so for your faith growing, the adversity that you've had with your family, how do you appreciate God as opposed to being upset with God? Because some people get upset when there's adversity, right? They get upset when something bad goes on or someone in the family gets sick. Why did you do the opposite of getting upset and say, hey, instead of looking at this and saying, why did this happen to my dad, I look at God and say, I'm so happy that he's alive?
Yeah, because, I mean, he's gotten my dad this far in our lives. He's, you know, hit milestones with us.
Yeah.
It's just that the Lord works in amazing ways, and, you know, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. And, I mean, it just builds our family so much more to know that we have the Lord in our lives. And, yeah.
Do you talk to God often?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been kind of like rocky with like praying a little bit, but I mean, I do.
And do you feel like it's a friendship? Do you feel like you're just looking up and talking to someone far, far away, or can you feel him with you?
It's a bond.
It's a bond?
Definitely. Yeah.
How would you describe it?
It's not something like someone can feel if you don't know him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like talking to your friend on the phone. It's like kind of like the intimacy of talking to the Lord like that.
Yeah. And understanding that he's really cool.
Yeah.
He's got a sense of humor. You know, there's, and I agree with you. If you don't know it, there's no parallel. You can't be like, oh, it's like this. You know, it's because talking to God and knowing God and feeling like God literally within you, like pull you out of something or just help you. It's, or to feel like when you did something that made him happy. You know, like that you gave back. There really is no substitute to the beauty of a relationship with God.
Oh, there isn't.
So you're 19 years old, you got a relationship with God, you appreciate God, you've been through a ton of adversity, you've given yourself to the Lord, you appreciate the goodness around you, you love living in the moment. There's people watching and listening right now that are 50, 60, 70 years old that haven't figured that out yet. What's your advice?
Just to never give up, never let yourself down, because honestly in December we had lost part of our home to a fire, and we have been living in a hotel ever since, and it was one of the hardest days of my life, you know, just sitting there crying with my mom, watching your house burn up in flames. It really does something to you. But I remember a couple days after, a person who used to work here, Julia Getman, she told me that, and she was telling me her testimony, she said that, you know, something good's going to come out of this, you know, my family ended up in the best place after that. And I didn't understand that at the time, but now that things are starting to get rebuilt, I understand it now. And it's just having faith in the Lord that will get you through those hardest moments. And you feel like you're losing it all. Trust in the Lord.
Your dad being sick, losing, half your house, like you said, in the fire. How do you still thank God when you wake up in the morning?
I'm just thankful to be alive. I mean, like, the days are not promised. And, I get those moments where it's hard, I'm miserable, I'm tired. Then just gotta rejoice, praise God for today. It may not be sunny, but it is to Him.
Yeah, and everybody talks about living in the moment, right? But you've done that with your dad, not knowing what one day is going to bring from the next.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear people say, "Oh, live in the moment, appreciate every day," but you know what that's like. How would you describe that, knowing that, hey, on Monday, Dad might be good, on Tuesday, we may be in the hospital, on Wednesday, he may be tired, on Thursday, he may be back to being good again. Like, how have you really lived in the moment and lived each day like it matters?
Well, you can't really prepare for it, but it's definitely just, something that you have to live with. You have to be accepting of the things that you cannot change, and just be happy for what you have. So many people in this world have less, and some people don't even have parents. So just gotta hold on to it tight.
Your family here at ChickfilA means what to you?
It means everything to me. I don't think I'd be the person that I am today if I didn't start working here. It's opened so many doors for me, so many new friendships, and it's like a third family. I mean, you have your normal family, your church family, and then your work family.
And you have, 3 families all in one. This church family, ChickfilA family, your family, biological family. What's life like in Cece's world?
Life is crazy. It's crazy, but I enjoy it. I enjoy every moment of it. Even the hardest ones, I do.
And coming here to this family at ChickfilA, how have they helped you deal with the tough days?
They're just always so supportive of me. They're always there for me. I had a couple, people texting me, and it's just like, wow, you wouldn't find that anywhere else. You wouldn't find these people that genuinely care. They're not just putting a fake face on, they actually care here.
And we spoke about in the beginning and kind of bring it all back together. Owner-operator Jimmer Sikowski, he's the fearless leader, and he has had to be fearless in a lot of ways that nobody should have to go through. Who is Jimmer as a leader, and why are you happy to work with him?
He just believed in me and no one else didn't. He's always, just had the love and compassion for who works for him, and, just love him for that. I can relate to him and his family with my family, and I just know God's not done with him yet.
Yeah, you say God's not done with him. Why do you believe that?
Well, like with my dad going through everything, I just know that his family will go through this, and it'll make them the strongest that they've ever been in their lives.
And miracles happen.
They do.
So with that being said, for Cece McGlory, myself, Dan Tortora, this has been an edition of The Light Between Us. Cece, final note, why keep your faith? What would you say to somebody out there that doesn't have faith or is maybe searching for it?
Just never give up. Never feel in the moment, but don't let it get a hold of you. Don't let it break you down to your bottom, your rock bottom. Just trust in Him and see what He can do in your life.
Trust in God. Well, they always say, put it on the table and give it to Him. So, Cece McGlory, myself, Dan Tortora, this has been The Light Between Us. Cece, a big part of that light here at ChickfilA Clay. ChickfilA Cicero and ChickfilA Clay, proud partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we love the opportunity that we have with this family to be able to tell the stories in the light between us, and every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com, facebook.com, and youtube.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. We have the opportunity to bring you Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, a faith-based segment on helping you throughout your week. So, for Lead, for the light between us, and for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and ChickfilA Cicero and ChickfilA Clay, this has been another opportunity for us to share God with you, which is always the best opportunity. Thank you, Cece.
Pleasure.
Talk with you soon. God bless.